On Action Network, many features are common to all of our actions. This video will cover all the options and pieces that are consistent across actions, whether you're making a petition, an event, a form, a letter campaign, an event campaign, or a fundraiser. These pieces include customizing what happens after someone takes action, the statistics we track, embedding an action on your own site, and how we recognize returning users on Action Network. To start, let's create a new form. I'm just going to walk through a few common pieces on here, so if you'd like to know more about how to create a form or any type of action, please be sure to watch the individual video tutorials for each of those. So let's click from the Start Organizing menu to create a form. First off, looking at this, we have what we call a one-to-one creation interface. This means that everything you see on this page while you're building your action is basically what it's going to look like when it's done. These fields will all be in the same places relative to the other fields. The font sizes will be the same. The form people fill out will look the same. This helps you know exactly what things will look like when they're done, so there's no guesswork. So to create my form, I'll give it a title. You can add an image if you'd like, and next I'll write in the description. At the top of the description box, you'll see this formatting toolbar. This is the same toolbar that you'll see across all of your actions, so you can format the font of your description. You can write it in HTML, change the font size, bold, italicize, or strike your text, create bulleted or numbered lists, make indents, insert images, videos, or tables, add links, change the alignment, or insert a horizontal line break. Use these formatting options to customize the appearance of your page. The next you'll see is this Action By and Sponsored By section. This is how you tell us where to put your data for each action, and is the name that will be publicly shown to action takers in terms of who has created the action and who they might receive emails from about this or future actions. In most cases, you'll want this to just show as being sponsored by your group, which you can select from that drop-down menu. For more information on groups, please watch our groups video tutorial or go to help.actionnetwork.org. Over here on the right, you'll see a goal slider. All of our pages have a goal slider so that you can publicly track the number of actions that have been taken. If that's not really relevant for what you're doing, or if you'd prefer to keep that number private, then just click the green button to remove the goal slider. When you do have a goal slider up, we'll start the counter at 25 and then automatically increase the goal as more and more actions are taken. This way, you're always showing momentum. Next, we'll give our form a header. Under here, you'll see the form fields that we'll ask people to fill out when taking action. On every action, we ask for first name, last name, email address, and postal code. Only email address and zip code are required, though. If you'd like to add additional questions to ask of your supporters, you have a couple options. The first is our flexible form builder. To add questions this way, click on the blue Add Additional Form Questions button. If you've created any pre-built questions with our questions feature, you can select the one that you want from this drop-down menu and just drag it over to the left into your form question. To learn more about creating pre-built questions, please watch our questions video tutorial at help.actionnetwork.org. If you're creating a new question, you'll use this blank questions area. The options you have are a text input box for just one line of text, a text area for when you're asking people to type in a longer piece of information, like when asking people to share their story. You can use radio buttons if people should select just one option, checkboxes for more than one response, and the Select Box drop-down menu for when you've got a whole bunch of options, but people can only select one. To create a new text input or text area, click on the one you want and drag it to the left. Then click on the new question, and a box will pop up to allow you to edit it. Name is what you'll call your custom field on the back end. In this case, let's say we want to ask people to share their story. For the name, you could just put story. The label is the text here to the left of your box. The placeholder is the gray text inside your box. If you want your text box to totally match the style of the rest of the form fields, then you'll want to not have any label and only put your text in the placeholder. If, however, you want to put your text on the outside or have space to clarify how you want the information formatted, you can say what you're asking for in the label and then put that clarification in the placeholder text. So for this, we'll have no label and just placeholder text saying, "What's your story?" You can then check this box if you want the question to be required on your form, and then click Save. That's how this works for text inputs and text areas. To create checkboxes, radio buttons, or a drop-down menu, you'll fill that information in a little differently. So again, pick which kind of question you want to ask, and click on it under Blank Questions, and drag it over to the left to the Your Form section. Click on the checkboxes thing here, and you'll see the edit box. Name will again be what you want to call this on the back end. So let's say that here we want to know if people are interested in volunteering with our organization. So we'll make the name Volunteer. The label is again the text over here. So we'll fill this in as, "Are you interested in volunteering?" And then we need to give options. In place of where it says option 1, I'm now going to write yes. And in place of option 2, I'm going to write no. You can have as many options as you'd like. Just hit enter to create a new line. So I'll create a third option here for I'm not sure. As you can see from this little question box that's popping up, you can have one checkbox per line, and they need to be unique. Don't leave any blank lines because that'll cause a blank checkbox or a blank radio button. Checking a checkbox anytime one of your activists does so will store a value of 1. So we'll be able to see how many people said yes. Everyone's going to have an input of 1. But the column name is going to be derived from the name box above and the checkbox name that you create below. So checking a checkbox with our yes and the name entered above will store the value of 1 under our volunteer_yes. Adding this vertical line is going to be what it's going to say. So yes, volunteer. No, volunteer, no. And then you can do another one for not sure. When you're done adding those options, you can decide whether to make that box required. We'll make this one required on our form, and then hit Save. You can reorder your questions in here by dragging them up or down. And you can remove a question for your form just by dragging it out of the left section. When you're done adding your custom form questions, click Save Form. You'll see the inputs that you just made in the sidebar so you can see how it'll look. If you'd prefer, you can also add custom form fields using HTML. Click the green Custom Form HTML button, and you'll see the box where you can write your code. If you need help with the HTML, click See Instructions under the box. Our style sheet will open in a new tab, and you can grab the code you need from here, plug it into the HTML box, and you'll be good to go. You can also stack multiple questions in here in the order in which you want them to appear on your form. At the bottom of the page, you'll see the Save and Preview button, and a link. If you want to save your work and see how things look, click the Save and Preview button. And your action as it currently stands will open in a new tab. The link you see at the bottom is a private link that you can copy and paste to send the preview page to someone else to look at. This is great when you need your boss or a partner organization to sign off on something before you publish it, or if you just want someone else to take a look. This is just your private link for while you're working on creating the action. Once you hit publish, we'll give you another link without all the random numbers and letters, which will be the direct link to your action. Now that we've saved all of our information up here. We're going to go ahead and hit Save and Publish. And now this blue page is your action management page. This is what you'll see each time you publish an action, and is the management page you'll come back to anytime you want to manage or edit one of your actions. Let's go through some different pieces of it individually. First, you'll notice there's a little plus sign next to the title of the action. Click here, and you'll be able to give your action an administrative title. This allows you to have one title for public consumption and another for you and your colleagues to use internally for organizational purposes. All actions, emails, and groups can have administrative titles. After you add an administrative title, as you can see, we'll use that instead of the public title on internal pages like your dashboard, the actions list on your Groups Manage page, and in targeting. Activists visiting your page will still see your public title as normal. Your administrative title, as just happened, will take the place of your public title on the Manage page, with the public title in italics underneath. Then you can edit or remove the administrative title by clicking the edit icon and changing your administrative title or deleting it entirely. Up here, right under the title, you'll see a few buttons. This first one allows you to view your action on a live Action Network page. And then the edit button opens your form back up so you can make changes to it. Everything can be edited on your actions, but once you hit publish, we create a URL for you based on the title of your action. If you edit the title after publishing, that URL won't change. So try to make sure that you have your title finalized before publishing. The next button says Edit Tags. Tags can be applied to actions if you want every person who takes that action to have that tag attached to their record. To learn more about this, please watch our tags video tutorial. And the last button here is for Unpublish. If you wish to take your action offline, temporarily or permanently, Unpublish is the button you want. This will make it so activists can no longer take the action and puts it back in draft mode. Note that actions cannot be completely deleted from Action Network, only unpublished. When the page is unpublished, you'll still be able to see the data on your action takers. Below here, there are two more buttons, Create Email and Create Report. These buttons allow you to quickly create an email or generate a report targeting all the people who have taken that particular action. When you use the buttons, the action takers will already be selected on your targeting page. You can then add additional targeting criteria if you wish. For more information on creating emails and reports, please watch those video tutorials. So looking back up, this first button lets us view our form on a live page. So let's click that. Here's the form we just created. As I said before, when talking about our one-to-one interface, everything here on the live form looks pretty similar to what it looked like when you were creating the form. You'll notice over here to the right, it says Welcome Back. This is because we recognize users whose data is already in our system. We'll also recognize people if they are logged into an Action Network account. If it wasn't welcoming me back, you'd see those individual first name, last name, email address, and zip code fields. However, since it already knows that information about me, it's not asking me to fill that out again. This is something your activists will really like, and in a lot of cases will mean they can complete your action with just one click. You'll also notice, though, that the custom questions we made are still showing. Anytime you put in a custom field that your activist hasn't yet filled out, that will still show up, even if the system has their other information. At the bottom of the form box here, you'll also see some text that reads, "You may receive updates from Progressive Solutions, the sponsor of this form, and you may receive updates from Jane Smith, the creator of this form." This is letting people know that they're opting into your email list. If they want to change that, they'll just click the Edit Subscription Preferences and uncheck the box, so they'll be recorded as having taken the action, but will not be someone you're able to email. If your group is part of a network, this data will automatically flow up to your parent group. So let's see what happens when we actually fill out the form we made. I'll fill out my story and say that I want to volunteer. And then just click the Add Your Name button. Immediately, I'm taken to a thank you page. You may notice that this page looks a lot like the management page we were on a minute ago. Here, your activists are being asked to share your action on social media, or to share a direct link, or embed the action on their own page. They can also email information about the action to their friends. All of this can be customized back on the action management page, so let's look at that now. To change what people see after they take your action, you'll use the Response Options tab right here. First, the redirect URL. As I said, when someone takes your action, they'll see our standard thank you page, that green one that we were looking at a second ago. If you'd prefer for your supporters to see another page after they take your action, like your organization's donate page or a plain thank you page that you create on your site, just paste the URL into that box and now we'll redirect them there. Next, you'll see the text of the email we're sending when someone takes action. This email is automatically populated with information that you gave when you created the action and asks people to share on social media. Here, you can edit this email to say whatever you'd like and ask for a follow-up action, more details about the action they just participated in, different language for asking them to share on social media, or even just a simple thank you message. Change the text and customize the sender information, and we'll automatically send that email after an action is taken. You can also modify what exactly people are prompted to share on social media. Go here to the Sharing Options tab. You'll see some pre-filled text for Facebook and Twitter. When someone clicks on the social media sharing buttons on the thank you page or on the links in your thank you email, a box will pop up with this text, prompting them to post to Facebook or Twitter. We'll pre-fill this with the title of your action, the description you provide, and the link to your action on Action Network. But you can use these boxes here to change the default text for sharing. You can change the link to direct to where you've embedded the action on your own site, and you can even change the default image for posting to Facebook. One important thing to note here is the Twitter character limit. If you have an especially long name for your action, you may bump up against the 140 character limit. We'll show you how many characters you have remaining so you know where you stand. You may want to try to leave extra characters available so people can add their own thought when sharing too. If you scroll down, you'll see the Email a Friend option. On our thank you page, in addition to the social media share buttons, direct link, and embed code, we also give people suggested text to email to their friends about your action. We found that people like to copy and paste into their own email client more than they like a button to automatically send an email. This gives them way more control. Like the social media share text, we'll automatically populate this email with the title of your action, the description you wrote, and a link where the recipient can take action too. Use this box to edit the email text that's provided to your supporters to share with their friends. Lastly in here, you'll see the direct link box. This is the link we'll show on the thank you page for people to copy and paste when they want to share your action. The default here is the link to the Action Network page for your action. If you've embedded the action on your own site and want people to go there instead to take action, just replace this link with the link to the action on your site. When you're done editing these sharing options, don't forget to click the Save Sharing Options button at the bottom of the page. Scrolling up and looking to the right, you'll see some code. This is your embed code. Every action you create on Action Network is expressed as an embeddable widget. So when we created our form, it created a new page on Action Network. You can link people to that if you'd like, but you may want people to stay on your own website as much as possible. In that case, you can just copy and paste this code into the back end of almost any website, and now the form, event, fundraiser, or any other action will live on your site. Here's how it works. Just copy and paste this code over here. I'll click over to my website. This is the back end of our Action Network website, which we run on WordPress. I'm going to paste this code into the text editor of one of my pages and hit save. Now when I view the page, you can see that our form is on the page right here to be filled out. As you can see, the form is welcoming me back again because our system will recognize people not just on our site, but anywhere our widgets are embedded. It still shows me the additional form questions we added though. You'll also see this checkbox, allowing me to opt in or out of receiving emails from the petition creator, like we discussed before. I'll fill this out again. and click the Add Your Name button. As you can see, we'll display a version of our green thank you page within the widget here, right on your site. If you provide us with an alternate URL in the Response Options tab like we discussed before, then we'll send people to that site instead. Otherwise, they'll see this thank you page with all the same sharing options right here in the widget. When embedding an action, you actually have a few options for how it displays on your site. So let's go back to our management page. Under the embed code, you'll see this little gray options box. Click here, and you'll have the chance to change the widget. Our default widget, the one you just saw embedded, is our standard styles. This means it has a box around it and the white background. If you want a widget that has a transparent background and less styling, you can choose Layout Styles only. If you'd prefer none of our styling on it and want to do all of it yourself with CSS, choose No Styles. There's also an option here for your layout. Our default widget will be our standard layout. This brings over the title of your action and the form to submit a response, but not the description or image. This is so you have more flexibility for how that all appears by adding those pieces on your own site directly. If you'd prefer to have the entire action brought over, including your description, the map for events, images, etc., then select Full Layout. Under here, you can also change the width of the widget if you need to do that to make it better fit your site. Once people have filled out your form or taken other actions, you'll want to see the statistics. So let's click back over to the main part of our management page on our Statistics tab. The first piece we'll show you is simply how many people have taken your action on each day. We'll also show you what websites people clicked in from, how many people came from Facebook, or a link on your website, or a link from a blog post. The next section is for referral tracking. One of the unique features of our system is how easily you can work with others who are also using the Action Network, and the easiest way to do that is through referral codes. Referral codes allow you to work collaboratively with other organizations and allies to share actions and data seamlessly. Referral codes are automatically generated by Action Network for an individual account. When a user is logged into the Action Network, every share link on Thank You and Manage pages is tagged automatically with their unique referral code. Your partners can then share a link or embed the action with their referral code attached. When someone signs that petition or takes that action, their data will go to you as the action creator, as well as to your partner. This eliminates the need to have someone in your organization managing the data and dealing with sending spreadsheets to partners. Another benefit to this is that if you and an ally have a cause in common, but maybe slightly different messaging, you can each embed a petition on your own sites with your own language and images, and then each get credit for the names that you bring in. So, you can see where the referral codes are over here in the widget. See referrer equals Jane Smith. It's also up here in the direct link. In our tracking, we'll note how many people have taken action using your referrer code, as well as how many of those people are new to your list. This is great for seeing which allies are bringing in the most people, and the most people who are new to you and that you weren't able to reach before. The last section here is for source code tracking. Unlike referral codes, source codes are created by just typing in whatever you'd like as the source. These are great for tracking how many action takers you get from specific places where you've posted your action or links to it. Over here, again, you'll see a source code in the widget as source equals widget. You can type to change this if you're providing an embed code to a partner. So something like, now your source can say ally widget. You'll now see how many people came in, not just from your partner, which you may have indicated with the referrer code, but how many people came in from them posting it on Facebook versus the widget on their site. And again, you'll see how many people came in from that source and how many of those people were new to your list. You can then do targeting based on source code, so you can send an email to or pull a report of everyone who came to your list via Facebook. This isn't just for collaborative work. You can also add source codes to any place that you are posting it, even to individual times that you share a link on Facebook or Twitter. Source codes are automatically added to the thank you page share links. So for instance, if someone clicks to share the action on Twitter, the code for source equals Twitter will be added to their link. If you add a source code to the URL of a page containing an embedded widget, all the actions taken in that widget will reflect the source code used by the hosting page's URL, rather than the source code listed in the widget itself. Before wrapping up, I want to briefly touch on two other pieces of your action management page. First, on all your action management pages, you'll see this drop-down menu here for a page wrapper. We have a system that allows you to add your branding and logo to your action pages hosted on Action Network. This drop-down menu is where you can select which wrapper you'd like to use on your page. Wrappers are a partner feature, so if you're interested in accessing that, please visit our partnerships page. We also have a video tutorial on wrappers that you can watch to learn more about setting up and using them. And lastly, I want to point out our Next Steps tab. We know that not everyone using Action Network is a professional organizer with tons of experience building campaigns. We also know that sometimes the professionals can use a little reminder or something to spur ideas. So in the Next Steps tab, you'll see some ideas for how you can take your campaign to the next level. Things like arranging a petition delivery, getting news coverage, and reporting back to your activists. Take a look at the tips in here as you plan and implement your campaign. And that brings us to the end of the common action concepts. That was a lot of information we just walked through, so please head to help.actionnetwork.org if you have any questions or if you want to refresh your memory on any of the concepts we covered.